Good afternoon, participants. I'm Afia with WorkWell NYC and just wanted to give you an introduction to the session today. WorkWell NYC, as many of you may know, is the city's employee wellness initiative. And we're partnering with Beautifully Fed for the cooking demonstration today. WorkWell offers various programs, including those to support physical activity through our Move More initiative, mental health and well-being through our Be Well initiative, in addition to the Take Care portion of our work, which is about preventative health. And then our Eat Well area is where this program lies. So I will pass it on to our chefs of Beautifully Fed.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Afia. We're so excited to be here. I'm Karen Joseph Sherfis, and I'm here with my sous chef and partner in this work, Fiona Adams, and she'll be introducing herself shortly. For now, I just want to say again, thank you for coming. We're so happy you're here. And to let you know a little bit about Beautifully Fed Food. We're a collective of Black and Brown women from the African and Latin American diasporas. We're trained in culinary arts, nutrition, farming, and food justice. Our mission is to encourage people to celebrate their cultures, honor the wisdom of their bodies, and the traditions of our ancestors through food. One delicious bite at a time, because if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't matter. And we do this through the culinary classes, the food justice education, and the workshops that we teach. And Fiona.
Hi everyone, welcome to our class today. I am Fiona Adams. I'm a member of the Beautifully Fed team. I'm so happy to have you here cooking with us today. So I am, yay, I see you dancing, Felicia. So I am a home cook and a community chef, and I love food. But I also have just learned to really appreciate healthier cooking methods and ingredients after taking care of my mom, who suffered from multiple chronic illnesses. I really grew to appreciate even more the value of nutrition and how it can nourish and heal our bodies. So in addition to cooking, I also am a fitness instructor. I actually just finished my morning workout today, and I hope most of you will get moving today as well if you haven't. But I'm so glad to have you here, and we are going to get cooking. So I'll turn it over to Karen.
Yay, fantastic. And it's so awesome, Fiona, that you shared your testimony about what good food has done for you, because today's theme will be around the benefits of a plant-based diet, which is mostly the food that we provide in our kitchens. We don't always lead with the fact that we're plant-based, because that kind of turns people off. And what we lead with is the fact that we're cooking whole foods that happen to be nourishing and are really good for you, but they taste good. So that's really important to us, the fact that we are enjoying the food that we're eating, because we're not eating for nutrition only. Hold on a second. And so what we're making today, and this is a family class, so we're excited for those of you who brought your families today to be cooking with. Please let us know in the chat whether or not you'll be cooking with the family or cooking at all. We're making a cheesy green quesadilla. I love quesadillas, and I love anything cheesy. And we're doing it with greens, and don't get scared if you are cooking with little ones, because we're preparing the greens in a way that's kind of like smoky and sweet. And so it's a flavor that a lot of people enjoy, and I think the kids will like it too. So we're not trying to hide the greens, let's sneak it away from them, but show them that it can taste good. So, and also the key that we've learned in getting kids, because I was a picky eater too, so getting kids to eat things that they wouldn't normally eat is bringing them into the cooking process, allowing them to cook along with you. So if you do have little ones, let us know, and we'll identify different things that they can be doing to assist you in the kitchen, because if they're cutting up the greens, like tearing it with their fingers, they're more likely to want to taste that because their hands were involved in preparing it. So that's what we're doing. So do we have people who are cooking with us? Fiona, what are folks saying?
Yes, we definitely do have people who are cooking with us. So
fantastic.
Esther, looks like you've got your apron ready and good to go. Felicia, I saw you waving. I'm not sure if you're cooking, but I see you waving, so I'm glad to have you with us. I know that Afia is cooking with us today. Afia and her 6-year-old will be cooking with us. Do we have any other kids cooking? Olga is cooking. Oh, Olga said she's not cooking, but she's here, so we're glad to have you, Olga. Anybody else cooking with kids today?
I see Esther has her apron on. Yay,
Yeah, Esther.
Esther.
Hi, I see you waving, Olga. Thank you for
kissing.
showing us your camera. Yeah.
Fantastic. And
Amazing.
Felicia,
Felicia.
Tyler.
Yes.
Beautiful. This is awesome. All right, folks, so I'm going to walk us through what are the ingredients that you're going to need to have. Now is the time to start assembling those. We're going to start with vegetable stocks. Make sure you have that. We're going to need half a cup. Coconut oil. We're going to need to coat our pan with that, or any oil that you like to cook with. I think I might need a spoon, so scoop that in.
So we'll be walking through the recipe with you today, and then I will share a link in the chat.
Yeah, fantastic. We also have soy sauce, tomato paste. Refer to the link that Fiona is sharing with the recipe, because it also includes substitutions if you don't happen to have an ingredient. But we're very flexible here and in our own kitchens. So we encourage you to play with your food, and if you don't have one thing, it doesn't mean you don't make the dish. It means you think about what you do have that can still work. So we also have smoked paprika. My sweetener is maple syrup, but if you have honey or something, you can use that. I have a penchant for all things spicy, so I'm adding red pepper flakes. But again, if you're cooking with young ones and they don't like pepper, leave that out. Of course, we've got cheese for the cheesy quesadillas. Yum. I've already shredded mine. Get to shredding yours if you need to. Also, pro tip, if you find that as you're shredding the cheese, it's starting to fall apart on you, or it's soft and it's not grating easily, go ahead and put that in the freezer for a little bit to give it time to harden up, and then that way it makes the shredding a lot easier. Just let it sit for a few minutes while you prepare something else, like slice your veggies, and then come back to it. So that's what I did. So that's my cheese. We also have a jar. If you're cooking with young ones, this will be a really great thing to have them do. We're gonna make we're making like a marinade to saute our greens in. And the greens, I haven't showed you the greens. I'll show you the greens. But we're making a marinade to saute the greens in. And what you'll need, what's good for kids to do with that is if you add all your marinade ingredients into a jar. This happens to be a plastic Skippy jar, or whatever jar you have. Plastic is really good, particularly with kids if they happen to drop it. And you get them to just shake, 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 and dance and do the whole thing. Play with the jar while you do what you need to do in the kitchen. It could be a lot of fun. So I've got my jar here. I'll be shaking it. And then the greens. I've got kale, my fresh kale. I'm going to show you later how to shred them into these ribbons if you haven't already started shredding. Or you can simply have your little one break this off into pieces. It doesn't have to be beautifully, julienne, like, not julienne, a chiffonade like I've created here. It could just be torn, also fine. We also have spinach leaves here. I want to make sure you can see. And shaw. All right. And then baby spinach is what this is. And then I also have two peppers. I've got one that's already sliced like this. We call it a julienne. We also have garlic. You're going to need a few cloves of this. I have a whole head. Acid. I'm using lemon. If you happen to have lime, use that. I've also used orange in place of acid, or as a different type of acid, citrus acid, orange. Apple cider vinegar also works well. And I also have some cilantro, because I realized I made my cheese quesadillas, but what you need to know about me is what do I love? I love sauces. I love to dip things. And so I'm really surprised at myself that I sent out this recipe and I didn't include a sauce to make. So on Wednesday, we made a sweet yogurt dish. Hi, little one. But Afia, what's your name again? I can see you with your spoon. You're ready to go. We made a sweet yogurt dip on Wednesday. Today I'm going to show you how to make a savory yogurt dip. So what I'm going to do is add cilantro. It's the herb I happen to have. Use whatever herb you happen to have, fresh or dried. And then this time we'll add garlic to it and some salt and pepper too, and some acid. Boom. Now those are all the ingredients. Are there any questions? One thing I should mention.
No questions so far.
Yeah, okay, good. One thing I should mention is that, where's my half cup? There it is. On the recipe, I totally neglected to indicate how much vegetable broth. Really important. We're using half a cup, and we're using a liquid measure, which is this. This is a liquid measure. These measuring cups are dry measures. This is what you use to measure your flour, your baking soda, that sort of thing. If you're measuring anything that's liquid, you use this. The measurements differ slightly. In my opinion, it's not enough to make a difference in cooking, but it's huge if you're a baker. So if you're a baker, know the difference between your measuring tools and use the right one for the right thing. So I'm using my vegetable broth. Ooh, I started telling you all about what we're cooking, and I was relating it to the theme of today, but then I didn't mention the theme. The theme of today's lesson is all around community, and it's around healing ourselves with plant-based foods and why it's so important. Listen, I don't think I mentioned that. So we'll be getting into that a little bit more. I like to always keep a towel nearby to clean up my cutting board so that it stays nice and well. All right, so what we're doing first, so I should let you know, Fiona, see she's busy in the background, right? She is my sous chef in this virtual kitchen, and she's managing all things. She is managing the waiting room, making sure everybody gets in and is able to see what I'm doing. She's managing my screens to make sure you all can see what I'm doing. And she's going to be reading the recipe to me and making sure that I'm tracking along with what I'm supposed to be doing, and then seeing the chat and answering all of your questions. So this is a very engaging process. We're used to doing these classes live and in person, but due to Corona, we've had to make some adjustments, right? And so here we are virtually with you all. And what that means, though, we still like it to be interactive, so we will ask you to share your questions in the chat, share your food as you're making the food. If you are cooking with us, it really is important to us that we get to see your camera so that we can see what you're doing and ask you to make adjustments that actually make sense for you in your kitchen. And I think that's it. And if we have a question about your question, we may ask you to, we may turn your mic on so that we can see, so that we can turn your mic on so that we can hear your question, allow you to speak about it. Okay? So that's how this is gonna go. All right, so I've got my jar, and I'm gonna start adding the ingredients to this. So I have half a cup of veggie broth, and then I think 4 tablespoons of maple syrup,
Wait, half a cup of
2 tablespoons. Okay, a 4-2-2 situation, 4-2-1. Perfect, 4-2-1. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. No, it's not tablespoons, my bad, people. It's teaspoons. Teaspoons, that's important to remember.
4 teaspoons of maple syrup, 2 teaspoons of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika.
Yay! Okay,
And
let's stop there. That's all my brain can hold right now. Let's do that. So I've got 3. So excited to have a Fiona in my kitchen, y'all. You don't even know. Everybody needs one. You might make that happen. All right, so I've got my maple syrup.
Then we have 2 teaspoons of tomato paste.
Okay, all tomato paste. See, told you, have a Fiona. Get you one. All right, 2 teaspoons.
And those of you who are here and not cooking with us, we're still so happy to have you, because you can, I mean, this is going to sound really crazy, but these dishes are so good that you can almost smell them through the through the computer. So stay on with us, follow along, and then I'm sure you'll be inspired to create this today.
Yeah, we hope so. That's the goal of this, and to see how really simple it is.
So now after your tomato paste, you'll be adding 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika.
Beautiful. Okay. And I love these double-sided tablespoons because this side is dirty now, and now I can use the other side, and the side easily fits in to my spice jars. And you said 1 1 teaspoon, right?
1 teaspoon of smoked paprika.
Smoked paprika. All right, beautiful.
And for all of you who were asking for the recipe, there is a link shared in the chat.
Okay.
So Karen, from there, you're adding 4 teaspoons of soy sauce.
Beautiful. So I like to shake my things up. Oh, one thing I want to tell you to continue our conversation. Who's here that was with us in the cooking class on Wednesday? We talked a bit Wednesday about shopping for ingredients in a grocery store and what to look for on ingredient labels. How much of this?
What do you have? The soy sauce? You have 4 teaspoons of soy sauce.
4. Okay. That was 1. This is 2. This is 3 and 4. We encourage you after we mix this up to take a spoon and taste it and then adjust the flavors for your own liking. The flavor profile here is like savory and sweet, little smoky, and just like really yummy, kind of barbecue-y like experience is what we're going for. All right.
And then you're adding your crushed red pepper flakes to taste.
Yeah. If you can handle the heat, now is the time to go for it. How much?
It just says to taste.
Okay. Then I don't usually use a thing for that. I usually go like this, put it in my hand, and with the with spices like this or with herbs, I like to kind of crush it with my fingers to wake them up and liberate the flavors. I've got one of my fellow community chefs. I joined her and she was doing a Instagram live video yesterday, and I love her language around food, and she likes to say liberate the nutrients, liberate the flavors, and I love that. So I'm thinking about you, Janelle. All right, is that everything?
Yep, so now you're gonna shake
Beautiful. I'm gonna shake it first. See, this is where your kids come in. Y'all, who's doing this with us? What is their situation? I want to see y'all shake. Shake, 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 shake.
Oh,
shake,
I see that you and your daughter are shaking it up there.
I want to see. Go, Esther. Woo-hoo. All right, so I'm going to taste this and see if I need to adjust anything. I'm just going to take my spoon straight out.
How's it tasting, y'all? If you're cooking with us, post in the chat. So, Karen, can you repeat the tip that you mentioned about the red pepper flakes?
To release the flavors in dried herbs and seasonings like red pepper flakes that are not simply powder. The best way to do that is to take it in your fingers and just like crush it a little bit more. So the crushed pepper flakes are already crushed, but you want to do that. It helps to like release the oils that are inside of them so that the flavors wake up. Because the thing with dried spices, they've been sitting dormant on a grocery food shelf for who knows how long, and they're not awake anymore. They're no longer vibrant and vital. So you want to, when they come home to you and you're getting ready to use them, they continue to sit on a shelf in your cupboard. So you take them out and then you wake them up. You actually manipulate them and crush them, and that releases flavors. Another thing that does that too, that's why in a lot of cultures, when they cook with spices, like it's very popular in Indian cooking, is to like saute, in a sense, your spices in a skillet before they add anything else. They'll put the dry spices, the powders, the herbs, the whatever, into a hot skillet and shake it up again to waken it up to liberate the flavors and the nutrients. Coco?
Yeah, toasting your spices before you add the other ingredients, it just really highlights and brings out that flavor.
Yeah, it does. Do it. Okay,
yeah, so
Fiona.
Esther is adding some red chili powder instead of paprika. So that's great. You know, whatever flavors you prefer, that's going to add some more spice to it. So
yeah, it will.
Yeah. So next we're going to heat our oil in a large skillet and saute the garlic over low heat. Of course, be careful not to burn it.
Thanks, Fifi.
Let's see, how much garlic are we adding here? 4 cloves of minced garlic and 1 teaspoon of coconut oil.
Okay. I'm gonna get my oil going first while I cut up my garlic. If your garlic isn't yet minced, I'd recommend you do that first. Mince your garlic before you turn the hot oil on, because turn on the heat, because otherwise you may run the risk of burning your garlic, and nobody wants that flavor in their quesadilla. Trust me, it's not pleasant.
I don't want that flavor in anything. Burnt
Right?
garlic, yuck.
So you
It's not good. Not a good look. So I'm gonna let this go. I'll show you how to cut up garlic. So I start with, how do folks taste their marinade? How is this? Mine is really good. I was feeling like it was missing some acid. In the ingredients, Fiona, did I say that that's the time to add your lemon or your apple cider vinegar or anything? Or is that coming later?
Yeah, it comes in later.
Okay. No worries. We'll get the acid in there. But I did like the flavors of it. I was just like, I'm missing a little something. So yeah,
Let me double check the recipe. Let's be absolutely certain. So we said vegetable broth, maple syrup, tomato paste, smoked paprika, soy sauce, and crushed red pepper flakes into a jar, just so you know we're reviewing for all of you. And at that point, you taste and adjust your flavors. Now we're moving on to heating a tablespoon of olive oil in a large skillet, and we're going to saute our, let's see, how many, I think we have 4 minced cloves of garlic. 4 cloves of garlic minced. Yep. So we are sauteing our 4 minced cloves of garlic in a tablespoon of coconut oil.
beautiful.
I also just reposted the link to the recipe in the chat if any of you want to take a look.
Excellent. Sorry, y'all. That's the sound of me smashing my garlic.
I think this is how Karen releases frustration because she just killed the garlic.
It completely is. What that world. This is healthy. A healthy release, a necessary release, for sure.
So there was a question about which pan we're starting with. So we are in our large skillet.
Large skillet. Yeah, I have one of my skillets is a heavy bottomed pan, this cast iron situation. Right here. I decided I wanted to use this because what I love about cast iron skillets is that it browns really beautifully and really evenly. And so I want this to be the skillet that I use for my quesadillas to brown them. So I want to put the tortillas in here, and I'm using just a regular stainless steel pan, medium size. If you got larger, use larger, to saute the greens. Okay, so my oil is going. I'm going to mince up this garlic right now. Woohoo.
So once the garlic, just to give everybody a preview, once the garlic has sauteed for a bit, we're going to add our vegetable broth mixture into the pan.
Exactly.
So we're checking out Karen's knife skills here.
Yeah,
She's using the claw, her fingers, and just masterful style, masterful technique.
You don't have to go this fast, you all, and please note that my speed didn't come immediately. I was very clumsy in the beginning with this too, but it comes with practice, and it's about the knife as much as it's about your technique. This is what's called a chef's knife, and it has a natural curved blade, and that's what allows for the rocking motion. If you're trying to do that rocking technique with a straight bladed knife, it's not doing what you need it to do. Trust me, I used to pretend myself at home with a straight blade until I learned properly that this is a knife that does that.
Yeah, so those of you who are already sauteing your garlic, you will be adding the vegetable broth mix that you just created.
Yeah.
Put it on your hand on the floor. Put it over here so it can catch it. Go.
What's that? I hear somebody talking to a child. How's that going?
Yeah, so we're just keeping all of you on mute. So yeah, if you happen to unmute yourself by mistake, if you can just keep yourself muted for now. We definitely want to hear from you a little bit later.
Oh yeah. For sure. All right. So I've got this in here. I'm gonna grab this. Oh, you know what I didn't get? I'm gonna need my my spatula. I do have it later for the tortillas.
So once you pour in your broth mixture into the skillet, you're going to stir to combine and then let that heat for about a minute.
Yes.
So Marisa is mentioning that she usually buys garlic pre-minced. Absolutely, that would be okay for this recipe. Time saving.
What was that? I didn't hear.
Marisa says that she buys her garlic pre-minced, and she's wondering if that's okay for this recipe. So yeah, absolutely. Less work for sure, Marisa.
Yeah.
We're also busy. I mean, I don't know about you all, but even during this quarantine time, it's still been super busy with work and spending lots of time in the kitchen. So anything that we can do to save time is great.
Yeah. For sure. So I've got it in here. Now I'm just swirling it around so that the garlic gets in there. If you wanted to just like swirl it with your wooden spoon. I use a wooden spoon so it's not to scratch up my cookware, and scratching up because I like my cookware and I want it to stay pretty, but also because a lot of cookware, particularly if you're using something that is non-stick, it's coated in Teflon, and Teflon can easily be peeled from the cookware by the tongs of like a fork or even a spoon that's not wooden, that's, you know, steel, a metal, that sort of thing. So I like cooking with wooden utensils because it's a lot gentler on the surface of things and it doesn't degrade the cooking material. And because if you degrade the cooking material, that material gets into your food. And so the food, you know, no matter how healthy it is, if you're putting in toxins from what you're cooking with, it's a problem. So there's that. Okay.
So in terms of the heat, it should be on low heat.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is on low. That's what you
Yep.
want. See this?
And so next we're going to be moving on to adding the kale. So we're going to be cutting the kale into 2-inch strips. And Karen, you can talk about why you like to use the kale stems and the kale.
Yeah, people. Again, we emphasize whole food cooking, and that means the whole ingredient, whatever possible. So the stems are edible and they're delicious, but they're also like really fibrous, which is why a lot of people will remove them. Oh, so this is a part where you can have the kids actually just tear the leaves apart if they're cooking with you. Get them involved in it and make them, you know, as well as big as you want. They're going to be cooked down a bit. This is the size that I'm going for. But do what makes sense for you and your little. And so we are going to cut down we're going to chop off the stems, but the key to making these fibrous stems like edible and delicious is to cut them small. So I should tell you what I'm doing. I'm creating ribbons out of this. So what I've done is I've taken the leaves and I'm stacking them on top of each other because I don't have a child I'm cooking with. I'll be cutting these myself. So I'm going to go like this, roll them like a burrito, and then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut from the very end into long strips on an angle. So I think it looks prettier that way, and that's important to me. So I'm cutting it at an angle. I'm going all the way down, just like that. And I'm going to show you at the end what cutting it this way does. And you can do this with just about any big leaf. You can roll and cut. And this is called a chiffonade. It's a fancy technique that is really simple to execute. You'll hear, and now we're getting to the stems, right? So the stems, and the leaves are all integrated right here. So, but because I know there's stems there, I'm going to cut even smaller incisions than I was making before. So cutting down really small, and I'm probably going to still chop it up some more. Because again, when you're cooking with kids, this, you know, I know for me as a picky eater, texture was a big thing. There are a lot of things I wouldn't eat because I just didn't like the texture of it, especially if they're like mixed textures. If you know, yeah, mixed textures. So things were smooth and then all of a sudden there was something crunchy. Oh, no. the crunchy would mess me up. So we're gonna cut because of that to eliminate the concern and confusion around different textures. We're gonna see this is how my stems look right now. I'm gonna cut it up even more and mince that away. Do you smell your broth? Can you smell my broth?
Mm-hmm.
Getting nice and hot. Oh my gosh.
And just to be mindful of separating the leaves as best as you can from the stems, because we'll need to cook the stems first to break them down before we add the leaves.
Yeah. Thank you, Boo. Definitely tell them that. Thank you, Fiona. So yeah, I'm cutting up the stems. Oh, and I'm going to show you what the chiffonade technique results in. Chiffonade means ribbon in French. And so it makes these little pretty ribbons. I'm all about the ribbons. All right. So now you see it's a lot finer. And you continue to cut as fine as you need it to be. All right. I'm going to show you all my ribbons. These are my ribbons. Can you see? Whee! Whee!
Esther, I see you. Your stems are looking really great there, Esther.
These are my ribbons, y'all. Yay, yeah?
Perfect, perfect.
I wish there was a way that I can like keep my view so I could see everybody at once. Keep switching. In any event. All right, so I'm separating my ribbons from my stems. So I can put the stems in now. Because my pan is releasing all kinds of lovely smells, and it's bubbling and looking like it's ready, smelling like it's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and add my stems in, because that's what's next, right, Fiona?
Yeah, we're adding the stems and we're giving them time to cook, and then we're going to taste it to see how we're liking it and adjusting from here. Because, you know, we always say that a recipe is a guide, right? So we all have our different taste preferences. And so, you know, you may want a little more paprika, or you may want a little more red pepper to add some spice to it. So we always taste along the way and adjust. So Karen, I also wanted to ask you, Audrey is wondering if there's a brand of knives that you would recommend, and pots as well.
Ooh. What do I love? I love Lodge cookware for the cast iron. The big heavy black stuff. They're really affordable. They're easy to season. It requires seasoning, which means like to oil them and bake them in your oven so that they become non-stick. They're really affordable, and they feel just like the cast iron skillets that I grew up with my mom making. So heavy, and they do the job well. So there's Lodge. And then for my I only have stainless steel cookware at home. And there's a brand that I loved, and there's a brand that I can afford. Let me see, which is the brand that I love that I wanted is All Clad, right? They've got really great quality products. And then the one that I bought, what is it? Is it Cuisinart? I'll have to think about that. I can't think of it.
Maybe, is it Calphalon?
Yes, thank you. I knew I had to see. Yep, it's Calphalon.
Yeah, that's what I have as well.
Yep.
All Clad is definitely great. Calphalon, I use that all the time, and it cooks really well.
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Fiona. I told you everybody needs a Fiona in their kitchen. She knows all of this. Pretty awesome. All right. So I've got this. So I'm supposed to taste it, right? Let me go.
Taste it, and then we'll add the lead.
Okay, y'all should know I'm here with you in my virtual kitchen, thanks to my good friend and business partner. She's part of Beautifully Fed. Her name is Antoniki, and my internet is out in my house. And so she generously offered her place in her kitchen, her and her husband. So I'm here now, and I'm mentioning them because A, I want to thank them, and they're wonderful and amazing. And B, because they are, it's Saturday and they're in their house. And you may see them appear. And so that's who they are. So just wave, say hi. It's fine. They know the camera's on. It's not a secret. All right. I'm going to
So Karen, I know that you are, I often play music as well while I'm cooking, and I drink wine as well, but that's beside the point. But can we turn down the music just a smidge?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely. Better?
Yeah, perfect. That is part of my cooking experience because for me, cooking is an experience. You know, on Sunday afternoons, I pour a glass of wine. Not that I'm encouraging all of you to have wine, but I pour a glass of wine, I play some music, and it's a whole experience because that's part of my self-care routine. So I am definitely with you on cooking with music. So, Karen, we also got a question about how we encourage kids to try kale.
A is to ask them to help you prepare it. Just be real sweet and innocent about it. Say, hey, you know, I'm making this dish. I've been really curious about it. Will you help me make it? And just get them to help you make it in some way, shape, or form. And then at the end of it, ask them if they want to try it. Say, you know, thanks so much for making this with me. It tastes really good. Go to try it and see what happens. And also, if they say no, that's fine. Do it again. You know, the next time that you're preparing something, like at different levels, at different stages, different times, just keep offering it to them. And no matter how many times they say no, because one day they might say yes. And as a person who never ate, my family's from Jamaica and Cuba, and my mom is Jamaican, and she would make rice and peas. Growing up, it was a staple. Like every night, every other night, there was rice and peas. And I used to eat it, and then one day I wouldn't eat it. And she was like, wait, what happened? But then she would just painstakingly take the peas out of the rice and give me my own bowl, sans peas. And God bless her. She was amazing. And now I eat rice and peas happily. I don't know at what point I switched over, but I eat it without question. But and my mom never like forced me or asked me to do it again. But I encourage parents to definitely at different stages and ask the child again to eat something that they haven't, because our taste buds do change, and it's not always. I'm going to add the ribbons in now.
Yeah, I definitely want to
it tasted amazing. It tasted amazing.
Good.
So I'm not going to add.
I wanted to ask you, Karen, how are your stems feeling? How do you know that they're ready? That you're ready to add the leaves now?
Again, it depends on your preference. I like to have a little bit of a crunch, so they're soft. They're tender. They kind of like melt. They don't melt in my mouth completely. There's a texture to it, and I like that. If you want it to be a little softer, continue to cook it a little longer. So you're going for, an experience that feels good for you.
And you were asking about the citrus earlier, and this is actually the point when we want to add our lemon juice. Yay! As well as the zest.
Okay, cool.
So let's see, how much lemon juice are we adding?
2 tablespoons.
Half an organic lemon, and yeah.
I thought we were using the whole lemon.
You certainly can. Our recipe is instructing for half, but we always say, right, the recipe is a guide, so let's use the whole lemon.
It's a guide. My bad. Yeah. So use half. I need to find my zester. Anyway, I'm getting all this in here. Ooh, I kind of wish.
I want to share a question from Esther. So Esther says she has her shallots, her cilantro, and her kale. Does she add all 3 when adding the kale leaves, or is the cilantro for the dip later? So as we follow along with the recipe, at this point, we're just adding the kale, the lemon juice, and the zest.
I would use the shallots, though. The shallots should have gone down in place of the onions. But you could add them at this point, too. Get your shallots in there. The cilantro, you can add later. We could put that in the yogurt dip. If you want to put some in this mixture, you can do that, but I add it at the end so that it hits you and is really present, as opposed to the flavors could get muted. Will get muted if you cook them down with the greens. All right, so now that this is wilted down a lot, I could add the rest of my greens in here. It's also drank up a lot of my sauce, which makes me sad because I like sauce. It's going to say, if you like sauce and you haven't made the recipe yet, you might want to double the your marinade, your vegetable broth marinade, so you've got more of it. I might end up adding a little bit more vegetable broth to this, and a little bit more soy sauce. just because, like I said, I like. So I'm scraping up all of my things. All right, Dana's in here, and yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more vegetable broth. Again.
So Karen and I have a great time cooking together, even when we're in separate locations, because I love teasing her about the fact that Karen does not let a piece of anything go to waste. And I appreciate that so much.
I know you're gonna call me on that. Yeah, everything is all food. It all counts, and I'm not trying to lose.
Absolutely.
And
good food. Yeah, it is.
So,
and sadly, you know, good food, organic food can be a little more costly. So we definitely want to make sure that we're not wasting.
Yeah, definitely. That is so true. And especially now in quarantine, I don't know if you all have noticed, but prices have gone up in grocery stores and certain things. And so wherever we can save our money or allow ingredients to last longer, I'm all for that. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
While in quarantine, I have been freezing my herbs, which has been so amazing for me, because that's one of the things that I would be so upset about, is that I would buy all these amazing organic fresh herbs and then they go to waste.
Yes.
And so now I buy them, and while they're still nice and fresh, I will freeze them in olive oil. Like I just did some basil frozen in olive oil. I did some mint frozen with water and a little bit of fresh lemon juice.
Yeah.
And I've just been, you know, I froze them in ice cube trays, and I've just been popping them out and putting them in my drinks or in my dishes that I'm making. So that's a great technique if you want to preserve some of your fresh herbs.
Yum.
How's the dish coming along?
It's amazing. How are folks doing for cooking at home? Afia, how are you doing? What I'm doing here, y'all, is I'm adjusting my flavors because I added some more vegetable broth because I didn't want all the broth to disappear on me. But if you don't mind, like, it doesn't need to be wet. That's just how I prefer it. I like there to be lots of sauce.
Yeah, me too. So Afia is asking about the mint and lemon water. I actually so sometimes I'll make a drink out of it. I love blending cucumber with a little bit of seltzer water, and then I'll pop in one of my mint and lemon water ice cubes, and it is such a refreshing drink. And then, you know, when I am wanting a little extra, I can make that into a cocktail as well.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's fantastic. In my water, I have tarragon leaves, which is an herb that I've been playing around with a lot lately. I love tarragon. It's like this licorice taste, but really like soft and pretty even. It's got a pretty taste to it. And I have it in with some oranges, orange slices. And I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm at a spa at all times. And I always feel like I'm at a spa. We should all be so lucky, right? So what do I do now, Fiona? Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't listen to you. You told me to do my lemon, and I was doing something else. So what am I doing to my lemon? Testing it?
You are going to you're going to squeeze the lemon juice into there, and you're also adding the zest. So you want to zest it and then squeeze it.
Yeah, I'm going to zest and then squeeze. That's what I should tell you to do. And to zest, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
To zest, I am using a box grater. You can also use a microplane or a handheld grater. And what you're doing is you're getting just the yellow part, right? Or the skin and
Karen,
not.
Can you lower your grater just a bit so we can see?
Here. Yeah. And you're going like this. And I'm stopping whenever I can see the white, because you don't want that, because that's bitter. And the beautiful thing about zesting, and when you're zesting, you want to make sure to use organic citrus when you're zesting it. You could zest any citrus, so orange, lemon, lime. You could zest. The skin is where all the oils are, essential oils. If you use essential oils, this is where it comes from, citrus essential oils. The key, though, is to choose an organic fruit, because organic fruits and vegetables are grown without pesticides. And if you didn't have an organic grown produce, it's grown with pesticides, and the pesticides aggregate or collect right in the skin. That's where they live, and you don't want that in your body. You don't want to get that. So it's not that you can't eat inorganic vegetables, that we encourage you not to, because organic, if you've noticed, they cost a lot more than others. So we say whenever you want to zest something, you choose an organic ingredient, and otherwise don't use the zest and simply juice it, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so I'm going all the way around to get the zest from the whole lemon, and then we're just going to squeeze half of it in here.
So after we add our lemon, oh, you're playing one of my favorite songs there in the background.
Yeah?
But after yeah, I love that song.
You can hear it. Go ahead.
No, it's perfect. So after you add the lemon juice and the zest, we want to combine and cook until all of your leaves are wilted, and then you'll add the spinach leaves, and you'll mix again to adjust your flavors, and then taste to adjust your flavors.
Beautiful. All right. Let's get that going then. And so I don't use a lot of gadgets in my kitchen. So my kitchen is small. I live in Brooklyn, and not in a brownstone. And so I don't have a lot of gadgets. I don't believe in them, except like this one. I love a citrus juicer. It's freaking, and part of why is because, like Fiona said, I'm obsessed with like getting every last bit of food from the thing, and this like flattens the citrus and gets every last drop out of it in a way that I couldn't possibly do with my hands. I know, because I've tried, and I still leave, there's still juice and good stuff in the fruit. Whereas with this, like, it's flat, it's done. Watch, I'm gonna show you. Look at that. Look, it's like there's nothing there. It's done. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit more. So my God.
And if you don't have one of those, you can definitely, make sure your lemon is warm, not just right out of the refrigerator, and you can roll it before you squeeze it. Yeah, but definitely make sure it's not cold if you're storing it in the refrigerator. That makes it really hard. I've done it.
Yeah, it'll release some juice, but it won't release all of its juices. It won't be great for you.
Yeah.
You want to make sure to work it. Okay, so now we say I add my spinach leaves, right?
Yes, you add your spinach leaves. And then from there, we're going to make our quesadillas. So I know that we have about 10 minutes left until our scheduled end time. So we'll definitely move it along, but hopefully, you'll stay with us for a few minutes longer so we can wrap it up.
Cool. So yeah, we've been doing a lot. So it tells you to add your red peppers in later, but I want to do it now because I actually like the texture of cooked peppers. Not too cooked, like I want it to be tender and have a bite to it, but I'm going to do a little something here. Watch me.
So I want to share a tip that Esther added to the chat. So she says that she used a medium glass jar and cut up some lemon strips. She added rock salt and kept them in the sun for a week to make a delicious pickle. And then she used the lemon after squeezing out the juice in cooking and drinks. That sounds delicious.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Actually, I turned my fire off, so I'm going to turn you back on. Okay. Let that cook down a little bit. Doesn't that look pretty?
Love that. That's one of the ways that I tell if my meal is on the healthier side or I guess more nutritious side is by the colors, right? Yep. So when a meal has lots of different colors, then we know that we're getting a variety of nutrients.
Exactly. And speaking of getting your variety of nutrients, I've been teaching cooking classes, been all about nutrition since like the last 6 years. I've made it my business to learn and to study about food and the impacts of food on our health. But I had my first real experience about the difference in how my body reacts and how my body heals when I eat food that's good for me and versus food that just tastes good, right? And what that was about 3 years ago, I had to have surgery. I had to have surgery on my foot and on the right foot. And I didn't plan for the surgery. Like, it was sudden. All of a sudden I had to have it. I'm having it. Didn't really think about the fact that I wouldn't be able to be on my feet for a long time and couldn't get up and cook meals for myself the way I typically would. So my husband was doing all of the cooking, and we had very different diets. We have very different diets, and he loved fried chicken. He loved to eat it, and what he knew to make was fried chicken and French fries. And French fries from a bag, not even a fresh potato French fries, just, yeah. And that's all that I ate for like months. French fries, maybe some corn here and there, definitely nothing green. And then, and my foot healed the way my foot healed, and it was fine. I ultimately recovered from the surgery. Then I knew I was gonna have to have surgery on the second foot. This time though, I also gained like about 25 pounds during the course of 3, 4, 5 months. So I think it was about 6 months for me to recover from the foot surgery. I was on my back a lot of the time. Like, couldn't move, couldn't do a lot of things. So I gained a good 30 pounds. And I wasn't happy with that. And so the next time I had to have the surgery the following year, I said, you know what? I'm going to be different. I'm going to do different. I'm going to plan for this. And I prepared meals ahead of time. I had a friend who had a business that she prepped meals for me. So I ordered food from her, and I ate like a champ. Like, Steve had his food, I had my food. And at the end of it, when I would go to the doctor for my regular visits, he'd get confused about which foot it was that he just did the surgery on. He'd be like, oh, I was like, no, you did like the foot that I had just had the surgery on was healing so much faster, was doing so much better than the other foot. Even to look at it today, you would think that the foot that I just had the surgery on would have been the foot that looks not so good. But that's not the case. It looks amazing and it's different. So
yeah, that's a great testimony to the healing power of food. So Karen, what's going on with your pot? Are we ready to get our quesadillas ready?
Yeah, we are. Sorry.
Okay, so let me get back to your cutting board.
So now quesadilla making time, people. And we've got kids in the kitchen, so it's okay if it takes a little bit longer today. We hope you can stay on with us if we go past 12.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
a Saturday after.
It's a Saturday.
So
after all.
Rush today, right?
Right. At least that's how I feel about it. I'm getting hot though, so I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Take this off.
So we're not going to be too rushed, but of course we want to honor your time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got this. So I put this flour tortilla down in a dry pan. And I don't know about you all, but what's up? Can you say something?
Oh, go ahead.
I want tongs. Give me 1 second. Not my kitchen. So I'm figuring things out. Not tongs, but it's gonna work.
Felicia is going to use a cauliflower tortilla. Sure, you can absolutely use that if you want to cut back on.
I was just about to mention how I've been noticing that there's so many versions of tortillas out now. Folks, again, the food manufacturers, they're very smart. They're always looking for ways to get our money, and they're recognizing that consumers are becoming more conscious about wanting to have more fruits and vegetables in their diet, which is great. So they're finding all kinds of ways to put it in their products. But it's important to remember, food manufacturers are in the business of what? Making money. They're not in the business of making us healthy. Money comes first for them. So they'll be looking for ways to cut costs and write, really fancy things on the labels to say that it's healthy for us or whatever. But it's important for us to educate ourselves and to read the labels and see what's on it. So when I was reading the labels for my tortillas, because I also saw cauliflower tortilla, carrot tortilla, this time I was like, ooh, I got really excited. And then I would look at it, and the first ingredient would be enriched white flour, and then sugar, and then something else. And I'm like, No, not really the most wholesome. When you're looking for a bread product, you want the first ingredients to be whole wheat or some other whole grain. Enriched flour is always a red light for me to stop, because it means that it's a more processed grain. They've added stuff. They extracted a lot of the good stuff and then put some things that we don't necessarily need into it. So I try to avoid the things that say enriched, especially early on in the ingredient list, because in the ingredient list, the thing that's listed first, second, and third, and so on, are the most concentrated. And so if it's enriched flour, but it's like later on in the end, I'll give myself some grace and I'll get it. But I try to look, so be careful as you're looking at your ingredients and see what's there, and don't be fooled. That's key. Don't let them fool you, because they're honing in on that. They're putting, the flashy thing in front, the shiny ball to get you excited. Look, cauliflower over here. And then you read it and it's like, wait a minute. Is it really?
So Karen, I want to just jump in for those who are ready to add their tortillas. So you should be adding that to medium to high heat until air pockets begin to bubble. Check for browning and then flip to the other side when you have a golden brown.
And then once it's brown, that's when we add our topping, right?
Yep, add 1 to 2 scoops of kale filling, shredded cheddar cheese, and you added the red pepper. Yeah, so shredded cheddar
as
cheese.
this is browning, if you haven't grated your cheese yet, now's the time to do that. I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit to get this going, and then we'll add the good stuff. I'm so excited. So there's no time for me to make the dip on camera, the yogurt thing. What were you going to say, Fiona?
Olga left, but she just left to go to a Zumba class, which makes my heart happy, because we need to keep our bodies on the inside with good food, and then we need to keep our joints, our muscles, and everything going through movement as well. So
sure.
Yeah. Do we turn the kale? Yes. Wait, so Karen, have you turned off the kale? I think you have.
Yeah, the kale is off. That's something else, Fiona, that I need to adjust in the recipe. I don't think I say to turn off the heat on the kale. And that's important that people know. Turn off the heat on the kale. Remove it from the heat. It's done. It is so done. Oh, you know what? I didn't add mine. That's fine. Or did I? I did not. Close it. Yay. Okay, I'm going to leave it on this side. This could be a little bit browner, but for the sake of this class, we're just going to go ahead and add. So
there was a question earlier on about whether the recording would be available, and yes, I believe that it will be. So we'll keep you posted on that.
We'll keep you posted. We have to check.
That looks so delicious.
And now you just want to spread it on in an even layer. I'm going to get this out of my way. So y'all. Okay, we're dropping things. It happens. We are going to.
So now we're adding the filling. We're adding 1 or 2 scoops of the kale filling, the shredded cheddar cheese, to 1/2 of the tortilla. This is a great time for kids to help to assemble. And then we're going to fold the other side over. Press down with the spatula until the cheese begins to melt. You want to flip it, and then your tortilla is complete, and you can repeat with the others. So that was just a quick preview. So right now, Karen, she's added her filling. She's now adding her cheese.
Yeah. Voila.
Let me check in on those of you who are cooking with us. Esther, I see you over at your pot. So it looks like you're adding your filling. Oh, you're taking your tortilla out. Amazing. So we'll definitely want to come and spotlight your video if you don't mind. So before you start tasting, we'd love to see your tortilla. Let's see, who else is cooking with us?
Oh, yum.
Let's see. Esther, do you mind if I come over and spotlight your tortilla while Karen is still working on hers?
Please.
Yeah? Okay, great. I'm going to come over to you. Let's see your tortilla. I'm going to spotlight.
I like that we come over. Oh,
Can we
I
see
like
your
towels,
tortilla?
too.
Oh, here, it's coming out.
Lower.
A little lower for us.
There we go. Ooh la la.
Beautiful.
Ah,
Beautiful.
I using the folding over technique. Nice. That's what I meant to do too.
Really
Yep.
nice. All right, Karen, coming back to you.
Okay. Can you see? I'm gonna pull my pan over so you can see that. So I suggest she did a fold over technique, which works really well. Where you just take the one tortilla and fold it. I put a lot of greens on my one tortilla. So to even it out, I just decided to put another tortilla on top. And we've got this. I could have let it go a little bit longer.
Karen, can you get us on camera a little bit better there? And by the way, Esther, so the original recipe did call for the folding over technique, but again, just a guide. So because Karen added a lot more filling, she decided to use 2 tortillas.
Yeah, but I love that you use the fold over technique. It's awesome. It's especially good if you're, just cooking for yourself or whatever. If you just want one tortilla, I'm gonna go ahead and put another one on my hot pan because I can. And then I'll show you how you do this. If you didn't do the fold over technique, you could also do it this way. This is great for family style or if you're cooking for friends and other people, and then you could just.
Afia, how's your tortilla coming along?
Yeah.
Will we be able to spotlight your tortilla? Yeah.
Can you all see that? It's cheesy.
Oh, that looks amazing.
And green, and there's red stuff in there too. So you get to see what's going on with Afia and her little.
Ready? Okay, I'm coming over to you. Let's see your dish. Spotlight. Beautiful. Afia, did you use a whole wheat tortilla?
I did.
Nice.
Yum.
And the littles is here. Ours is a little bit different.
Voila.
I added avocado and fresh tomato too.
Oh, that
avocados
sounds
in
really
there.
good.
Have you tasted it yet?
No, I haven't.
Taste it. I want to see.
Nice. Coming back to you, Karen.
Cool. So this one, I'm going to do the fold over technique for this one. Now that you all have reminded me about the fold over technique, thank you. I'm going to turn my fire down just a little. And go ahead and get this in here. Okay. And I'm going to take my spoon to kind of evenly distribute everything around. And then I'm going to add my cheese. Voila. I'm going to make this one a little cheesier because I was playing games with the other one. It wasn't cheesy enough for me. I want it to be nice and gooey. All right. Okay, that's hot. Let's go like this. And then you get everything on the inside. And you do your best not to squeeze all the cheese out.
Thank you for joining us, Karen. Hope to see you next time.
Bye. The sweet and smoky are great. Yay, Afia tasted it. Right? How'd your little enjoy it? Those who are cooking with littles, have they tasted it yet? What do they think? Look at this one. Yay. All right, this is the folded over version. And I added more cheese. Can you tell? I can tell. I can tell. Add more stuff. Oh, I'm so excited. And some of my cheese got stuck to the pan, but it's all edible. So I'm going to do that.
So, Karen.
Yes.
This
We're going to go.
Delicious.
Yay.
So delicious.
Yeah, it smells delicious. Thank you, Fiona.
Yeah. Thank you for cooking with us today. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. And now you've been beautifully fed, you all. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you realize you deserve it. And you could do this anytime, all the time. And we highly encourage it. So thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on Wednesday.